Hi, and welcome. Thanks for joining our session, Global Support Without Language Barriers using Jira Service Management. My name is Björn, I'm co-CEO at Resolution, and today with me, Raime. So Raime is normally the guy who's responsible for all the content what we produce in our marketing team. But since a couple of days, he has an additional role at Shopcore. So Raime, what is it with your new role?
We will find out in a second, but basically these guys had a lot of difficulties expanding their Jira Service Management for an international audience. And I just helped them out, figure out what was the problem, how they could serve all the customers independing on their background and language, and things like that. We will go into the details in a second.
Okay, perfect. So then let me explain 30 seconds some stuff about Resolution, and then we jump in this topic. So Christian Reichert founded Resolution in 1998. But at this time, Resolution was more a company for professional services for IT hardware for companies like Cisco System. In 2013, we started with the development of applications, but with a complete different intention. So the main intention was to solve our own problems, not our own problem, more the problem from Christian Reichert to log in several times in Jira and Confluence application every day. So means our success story started with the laziness of Christian Reichert with the login stuff. Today, we are number one single sign-on app vendor in the marketplace with over 7,000 installations for several user management apps. But since a couple of years, we have additional applications. We call it productivity apps, and we will talk about our language translation app today. And since beginning of this year, we have some new kids in the family, our embed apps, which simply allow to embed fancy and famous cloud services in Confluence and Jira and to simplify your daily life with Confluence pages and Jira issues. But let's talk about Shopcore. So, Raime, normally you're working for us, but now for Shopcore, explain us a little bit more.
So, great question. Yeah, Shopcore was in an interesting situation because they have they're a small e-commerce based in Germany with a lot of operations also in UK, a good number of orders per day, an average order value, and a really strong support team who wants to stay in the company, knows the products in and out, and has really reached a high level of customer satisfaction. So they were ready to take it up a notch and start operating internationally. And they decided to do so with the same support team because they had still had some capacity. They were really happy about this move, but after some months, they looked at the numbers and they realized something was off. And this was the numbers that they showed me when they contacted us to fix their Jira Service Management. Still very strong in their main two markets, Germany and the UK, responding to chats really quickly, converting a lot of customers, stable revenue, and so on. But that picture was not translating into the international scene. For some reason, chat questions were not being picked up in the 5-minute frame of the time to full response that had been set up by management. The conversion rate, therefore, was very, very low because visitors were dropping, and a lot of revenue was at risk. €1 million per year is not a lot for a big company, but for a small e-commerce that has decided to start growing, it was putting the entire strategy in jeopardy. So we decided to kind of go back to the foundation and discuss what is the mission of support so that we agree on the principle. And I think that's a safe thing to do, right, Björn? Yeah. I think you've been in that situation as well. And we found mainly three business drivers for customer care. One is been the advocates of the brand's excellence in every interaction with customers. And that means that in every interaction with customer, no matter where they come from, they have to be treated with the same standard of excellence. That was not happening, and we had to put remedy into that problem. The tactical goal obviously is to convert as many customers as possible, because they understand the product offering, and they are they receive help when they need it. And ultimately, when a visitor has become a customer, and if they have had a problem, they have received good support, more often than not, they will return to your site over and over. And that's how you grow a sustainable business, instead of investing a ton of money into advertising to get new visitors. So everyone was, we were all in agreement with this picture. So we decided, okay, if we want to put this forward, what is blocking us from doing that? And we found 3 blocks in our diagnosis. The first one was that there were strong language barriers. Management had assumed that it was fine for the support agents to communicate in English with all the European region, and that was not the case. This is a fashion e-commerce catering to all ages, and that means that a lot of people, I don't know, a 65-year-old person in Greece perhaps does not want to describe his problems buying shoes in English, because she's not comfortable with the language for that type of situation, right? And all kinds of things like this. So as a result, a lot of chat requests, a lot of questions and tickets were coming in all different languages, and there was no process to treat them. Sometimes an agent knew a little bit of Greek, for example, and they were able to, and someone remembered that it was a guy who spoke Greek, and asked that person, hey, how can we be, closer, and say hello, thank you in Greek, and so on, so that we create some connection there. Sometimes there was not an informal expert like that, and they just went to Google Translate. Sometimes they forgot to paste the translation into the ticket. So it was very, very broken. There was no 2 tickets that were treated equally. Some of them were just forgotten. But management didn't know that this was happening, because there was no specific analysis for the non-primary languages. So this was a problem. We looked at this and said, okay, we need to do something about it. What can we do to fix it, to simplify the process, to build something robust with the same team without hiring more people? And we found out that we could do 3 basic things. Basically, generating automated translations for all those incoming tickets and for all that communication in both ways. So incoming tickets so that the agents can read the customer request in English or in German. And when the agent responds, the Greek customer can read the ticket in Greek, as if it had written in Greek originally. To fix a broken process, we figured out it was important to create language-based queues to basically sort the tickets in 3 types. A queue is for tickets that every agent can read and respond to. Second type of queue for languages that some agents can respond to, basically English. Not all the agents could write well in English, but like 50% of them could. And then a third type of queue for all the tickets that nobody can understand and respond to proficiently unless they have been translated automatically. This was what worked for them. There were other ways to do it. And finally, to fix the analysis problem, we decided that management needed to have the ability to see trends across regions and across products, so that it was important to build reports by language and by product, using the keyword extraction that we will see in a second. And that was our proposal. Now I think we're going to have a look a little bit closer at how we did it. Right, Björn?
So, Jaime, thanks for the description. So, at the end, and that's the reason for the presentation, we have a solution for that. So we created an application. It's called Ticket Language Detection and Translate for solving exactly these problems. And it is interesting to discuss these problems with companies who want to set up a new support or want to extend their support capabilities, because the mentioned problems happens always on both sides, not only on customer support, also for the customer, it is a language barrier. So, and this means especially for e-commerce platforms, and especially for this customer, e-commerce in the fashion industry, where more and more customers have questions to the product about sizing, fitting, sustainability, and so on. So it's getting more and more a conversational buying journey for the customer instead of simple clicking on a product and ordering it in 3 sizes. So our application allows to, as Reimer mentioned, allows to translate automatically tickets and the content of a ticket or an issue in Jira Service Management from any language to your preferred language of your service desk. So means instead of hiring 20 experts for all the European languages, you hire your customer support experts, your fashion experts, and you enable them to understand all the customer requests from Greece, Spain, France, UK, and other countries. So a second value of the application is to detect which language is the main language in a ticket. So what is the language of the customer? So Jira Service Management has already a functionality for this, but this functionality is not perfect because this functionality detects what is the customer portal setup language of the customer. So means we're talking about browser language, we're talking about maintaining the profile and so on. So what we are doing is detect the language which is written/spoken in the initial ticket and translate it to the service desk ticket. So this allows Shopcore, when they have a ticket in English and they have customer support agents which are capable to speaking English, then they route the ticket direct to these customers and they don't need the automatic translation in the conversation. And they can also pick up the phone and maybe call the customer and so on. But for Italian language, for example, they can use the automatic translation. And this combination allows us in the third step to create a proper analytics and also proper rules based on this data. So simple assume you are selling shoes and you want to analyze how often a sizing problem for your shoes is part of your communication with your customers. So this is really difficult in an international service desk because a shoe is named completely different in every language. So it means you need to detect or you need to read and manual translate all the tickets to get a proper analytics out of this. What we are doing with our app is translating all the content and also picking up the keywords in the conversation. And this allows you with other tools to create proper reports, proper measuring points, KPIs on this. And it also enables Jira automation to create workflows that you route the ticket to a specific agent or you have different SLAs per language and so on. So we started with a test, and Raimi, you already mentioned we should show it. So I would say let's jump in the demo and let's show how the Shopcore service desk looked like.
Let's get our hands dirty. So we're going to see a classic customer agent communication flow with automatic translations. On the left, you can see a Chinese customer writing a question about a logistics problem, how to make about the deliveries. And on the right, you have the German agent working from Berlin, who's just waiting for incoming tickets. There he goes, an international ticket that he cannot read apparently, but clicking on the ticket and scrolling down, it's possible to see the summary and the description translated into, in this case, German. And it's asking about international shipping costs and whether it's possible to send it to China. For the agent responding to trigger the international the automatic translation is as easy as adding an internal node. So for the German agent, triggering an automatic translation for his message reply is as easy as starting the message with translate and then writing the text. Then saving the node, and this will store the message as an internal ticket, but also send all this content as a translation into Chinese to the customer portal, as we're going to be able to see on the customer view on the left. Okay, so let us have a look at another ticket just so you get a good idea of what is going on. For example, this ticket in French. As you can see, we have the customer request in French as well, and the thread, we can read it from bottom to top, the summary and description in German, an automated reply that we send using the hashtag translate trigger to every customer. Then here the support agent is responding.
I think that's a very interesting point with these hashtag translates. What we are using here is our transparent mode. So it means it allows you to write internal comments with the hashtag translate, and then it will be translated to the customer language. So means you can set up international automated messages to your customers, and that would be enormous difficult to do it manual. So with our application, you simply set up the message in your base language. In this scenario, it's German, and it's translated to Chinese, French, and all other languages. So we have also a second mode. It's called bilingual mode. So in this mode, it is possible for the customer to see that this is an automatic translation. So it means we have a small headline, automatic translation, and also the customer sees both the native language, so his language, and the translated message. So Reimer is showing it here at the moment. The interesting point is that you can set up your base language, so means your service desk language, the native language for your agents, and the translation will be skipped for this. So you can also make decisions between incoming messages, outgoing messages, and so on. Feel free to watch in our documentation or other videos or ask us how to set up this stuff. But Reimer, maybe you can jump to the queues, so because that's very often the feedback from customers that this is really helpful.
Yeah, exactly. So the queues are really important, and they really depend on how you work. As I said before, when we covered the case for Shopcore, what they really wanted was to differentiate between languages that everybody speaks, languages that only some agent speaks, and then other languages that they don't cover, right? So that's what we have here. We have different queues for each important queue type. They are distinguished by language. They have tickets in German, in English, and international ones. Right now, most of them are cleared. There are some international ones that are waiting for customers. Let's really quickly show you how to set it up, because it's very, very easy. You just have to, we can clone it. You just have to play in your JQL with the customer language custom field and the values for the different languages that you want to capture. In this case, the JQL states that the customer language should not be English and should not be German. But if we want to go with Chinese tickets, for example, then we can just delete this, and I think Chinese is CN. Exactly, there we have it. And it's already captured the Chinese tickets that are waiting for customer. We are going to change the label to Chinese, and I'll leave the job of adding the emoji to my intern, because I don't know how to do it. I'm a manager, and it's something that is not in my resources. Okay, I create that.
It's a really interesting point. Yet now imagine as an agent or as a service desk manager, you can get already, based on the queues, you can get already a very good overview of what's going on your service desk. So which are potentially upcoming countries. You can combine it with SLAs, for example. You can give different SLAs to different regions because based on your focused markets. Maybe there are some new markets where you want to enter, or where the behavior is typically a little bit faster or slower as in your own country. So these field customer language is very, very useful to set up proper processes and to use the JQL functionality what Reimer showed already.
Okay, so another very important aspect that we discussed was giving visibility to managers and the ability to spot trends across regions and so on. We're going to show just a couple of different reports that were essential for Shopcore moving forward. Tickets per language. As you can see here, we have about a week of ticket activity and a lot of international tickets in these days. But there's even like a specific report, a specific line for French tickets and so on. So it's with this report you can really see how your support team should be investing their efforts in different languages, whether you need to change something, whether you need to advise folks to focus on one queue or the other. Obviously, you can combine this with SLAs and create a SLA success rate by language, things like that.
This is really interesting to put reports like this now to the e-commerce fashion sales reports and so on, because then you can simple measure, okay, what is my sales performance in country XYZ or in region XYZ? What is my issue or my ticket and my support performance, and where should I add potentially additional capabilities and so on. So it's really interesting, and you can create these reports based on our customer language fields and simply combine it with the existing Jira Service Management capabilities.
Absolutely. At the end, what we have here again is a very simple JQL for each of these trend lines. And you were just filtering by the customer language for each of this. So very, very simple to create. Let's go to tickets per product now. Okay. Let's go to a significant time range. We have data. And in this other report with tickets per product, what we're trying to capture is what are the main trends and with support across the product inventory. So basically knowing which products need the most support. Also is going to help you identify perhaps additional training that you need to do with your agents, or which processes can be optimized and improved in their efficiency. And if you combine this with requests for something like returns, then you could also potentially capture how many returns are being created by product line. All these insights are enormously important when connecting the support activity with business insights that are really important to the activity of the company as a whole.
Absolutely. So these reports is based on our keywords. So simply what we are doing is detecting keywords out of a conversation, and we store this in a separate field. So you can simply create JQL filters based on specific words and so on. So there is no need for the customer in the process to choose a specific product in a drop-down field or in a form or something like that.
And that's really interesting, right, Björn? Because I think what the app does is that independently of which language the ticket is, it will identify the keyword, right, and match it. So these all of these products are across languages and across regions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that makes it possible for a manager, for example, to manage an international service desk with hundreds of languages, and also simple having the possibility to check some tickets, to view on tickets, and also to understand the tickets. So this is really complicated when you drive an international service desk with customer native languages. Then you need a service desk manager with a lot of language skills and capabilities to get a proper view out of what's going on. Good.
Fantastic.
Jaime, thanks a lot for the overview, what's going on the Shopcore service desk. I think it's a very nice example how to use our language ticket detection and translation application. So feel free to ask us questions, and yeah, so try it out and have fun with it.
Yeah, I think you will like it because it's simple and it's very flexible. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the presentation. Have a great day.
One last important question, Raime. So is your job now done at Shopcore, and can we plan with you as a resource in our marketing team again?
Yes, but I still have a little bit to do. So they asked me to think about next steps, and what we're going to do is have a look at implementing different SLAs per language. So we want to connect this a little bit with results from the business. So when we see how the international tickets are doing, we may have to adjust the SLAs so that we find that right balance of successful SLAs with overall performance. Yeah, that's a little bit what we have to do next.
Good. Okay, then I need to wait a little bit longer.
Enjoy, everyone.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.